Well, it was the night before Christmas, and all through the house. How's the rest go? No, it's the night before the first open hill climb of the season. Kicking it all off tomorrow morning very early. In fact, it'll actually probably be the earliest hill climb of the whole season. First rider starts at 8 AM and I'm off at like 25 past 8. So I'm not really looking forward to tomorrow morning. Long story short, I'm not taking the van. Well, if I was, I'd be going tonight and staying over and like riding the climb beforehand. The van needs some work done to it, so I am instead taking the car. But it does mean I have to drive up very, very early tomorrow morning. I have to leave here at like 5 AM, 4:30, 5 AM. But tonight is made a lot easier by Charlie making a very nice evening meal. And we're gonna chill out now for a couple of hours until it's time to go to bed. Today has actually been quite a hectic day. My phone has not stopped. But I've also been up to see my mechanic, bike, Mr. Emir, and we've been tuning the bike up, making some adjustments, some tweaks, fitting some new tyres, and generally cleaning the bike a little bit. So I'll do a little small video about like what we've changed and what hasn't changed on the bike in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy classic vlog style video of my first open hill climb of the 2023 campaign. So before I go to bed, I am going to eat something as a bedtime snack to keep me ticking over. I've been going through a patch recently of really enjoying Weetabix again. I don't know if you have these all over the world. I imagine you do. These are the actual Weetabix, not like, you know, an Aldi or a little like replica. I just have it with a bit of milk. There's 4 in there. Yeah, 4 Weetabix. I like to have a little bit of sugar on there maybe. Nothing tonight though. I'm just gonna have some Weetabix and I'm making my way through this 600 gram punnet of strawberries. So that's my sugar for the evening. So I've arrived at the headquarters and look at this for a road very suitable to very supple, lightweight hill climbing tyres. On the way to the start line, I think I'll be walking down there. A little village which is just outside Dursley, which is a slightly larger town here in the Cotswolds. It's a very nice area, although you can't see much of it today because it's so misty. Last time I was here was in 2020 and my time around then was like 4 minutes and 30 seconds for this hill climb. Okay then, the start is just back there, just out of shot. So it's a flat start. And it's flat for a considerable amount of time, maybe 30 seconds. And this climb isn't that long either, it's about 1 mile, 1.6k. Okay, warm up time. Quick little spin out as well onto the course, because we have about half an hour until the first rider's off. So to check it out, I don't usually have time to check out the climb. I want to make it a priority this year in every hill climb I do to try and check out the climb beforehand, whether that be the night before or on the morning. I want to really nail my preparation. I'll tell you one thing, it's very useful when you're doing a recce to have the gradient on your bike computer, so you can learn not only visually, you can also see the gradient changes on the screen. Up, 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 up. Alright, warm up done. Sensation's good, but you never really know until you start the effort, right? Get back to the car, take my kit off in the skin suit, and then we'll be away. Got about 15 minutes to go, so I always try and end the warm up 10-15 minutes before. Okay, ladies and gents, our first POV hill climb footage of the season. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited to bring you this. This is like, it makes me so excited. I don't know why. It makes me so excited. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new, because there's going to be lots more of this coming your way in the next 8 weeks. Oh yes. So excited. So, Stout's hill climb. Let's take you through this effort from start to finish. So this climb starts off on a relatively flat and fast first 500 meters. This whole climb is actually only 1.6k, but of course if you take out those first 500 meters, it's a heck of a lot shorter. But it does get steeper, so it's about saving your matches for when you actually need to burn them. So this first little section takes us around about 30 to 40 seconds. I get aero, you can see my elbows bent there, just trying to maintain this speed that we're at. We get close to 45k an hour on Strava actually, but we're averaging about 40 kilometers an hour in this first little section here for just 400 watts. I say just, but obviously you're not really going into any sort of debt in this first section, or in my opinion you shouldn't be. It's when you hit this section here, you can see the gradient's now going up to 10%. That's when I'm starting to get into the effort proper. And I know that this section from here to the top is going to take me around 3.5 to 4 minutes if I'm working on the basis that my estimated time based on last time was around 5 or 4.5 minutes. So I know that if I take out that flat section, it's a shorter effort actually. So I know what I can do roughly in the ballpark for this amount of time, so I try to stick to that or maybe a little bit below it, but more often than not, I'm just always thinking about how I'm feeling and not really looking at the numbers. I glance down every now and then. You can see them there on the screen in big numbers, but they're more just a gauge. All right, just a gauge to see, right, are we near enough to that ballpark, because those numbers are going to be moving all the time and they can put you off. So I just glance down every so often. If I'm not there, I just give it a little bit of a push, and then I know I'm in that area. So it's most of it is done based off on how you're feeling and how you think the effort is going. So I actually end up setting an all-time best power PB for this time period. Not by much. It's about 4 or 5 watts, but it's a lot when you consider, you know, I've been cycling, I've been training consistently for like 10 plus years, and so when you get closer to your peak, of course, these gains are going to be smaller and smaller. So 5 watts is a fair chunk, to be fair. And I'm still very, very happy with that. So the overall effort for the actual climb itself, roughly the 4 minutes, was about 7.8, 7.9 watts per kilo. Of course, that's kind of including the first bit, which is ridden at 400 watts. Now, I believe I paced it unbelievably well. And I ended up going about 4 or 5 seconds faster than I did in 2020, and this could be gained, you know, anywhere really, but I definitely did more power than I did back then. Now, my biggest positive actually comes right at the end here. We're about 75% of the way up this climb. You can see on the graph on the right hand side. The steepest section is sort of in these trees here, and I apologize for the shakiness of the camera. You can just look away for 30 seconds because I think the camera was having a bit of a problem with the stability while I was rocking about on the bike. And I'm still seated at this moment. Still trying to focus on like staying smooth, staying seated, still operating at the highest power output I can manage. But in reserve, I'm sitting there thinking, right, when it's time to go, I'm going to get out the saddle and I'm just going to lay it all on the line there, right there. So in my head, the mental switch to go all out is when I get out the saddle, and I do it right here, right now, when I start to see people on the bend, and that gives me an idea of how far away I am from the finish. And this is where recce in the course obviously plays a massive part. So I go well over into the 500 watt areas now, so we're touching 9.5 watts per kilo for the next 30 seconds, and I managed to finish really strongly. So this is what I'm most proud of this effort. But I completely emptied the tank, like across the line. I was in bits. I recovered very quickly though, which is a phenomenal sign in itself. But because I did a practice effort earlier last week, there was a similar sort of time to this climb. I had a really good benchmark to base my effort on, and I felt like I got it paced perfectly.
Thank you. Well done, man.
Nice carrot to chase.
A green carrot.
Guys, almost there! Keep it going! Come on, up.
Here he is, the legend, Jeff Ware. Go on, Jeff! Go on!
Well, I've just got back from a post-race spin, and 47 kilometers plus. I went over to 2 of the 100 climbs that are in this area, although I'm surprised there's not more, to be honest. The Cotswolds is a beautiful place, and I sent it at both of them. They're both about 7 minutes in total. I did 412-ish watts, give or take, for both. I'm pretty cooked now, I've got to be honest. Doing a bit more on top, extra stimulus before I drive home, because coming all this way, yeah, it's tough actually to just come all this way and then like just go home and that's it, like just do a 5-minute hill. So try to make a session of it, and it's good motivation as well to use the segments on a day like today as well. So especially when you get like nutrition and everything, like on race day you tend to be performing a little bit better maybe than you would any other day, hopefully. So make the most of it a little bit, and if you could push yourself that little bit more, even if it's just for like one extra climb in the area, then you know you are getting a little bit more out of the day rather than just that one climb. And of course it all builds, you know, it's all progressive overload to things further down the line. So I was pretty happy with that, and I even managed to do like 434 watts for 5 minutes on one of those climbs, which was a surprise. It was a surprise because I did like 465 on the hill climb earlier today. So to be able to come like somewhat close to it, still be over 7 watts per kilo, was a little bit surprising. But all good, all the same. So I'm going to get home now and see how Charlie is.
Times like this when I miss the van.
We'll be back in it soon.